Good afternoon, skaters. It doesn't matter what time of the day it is for you right now, it's always the afternoon in beautiful South Amsterdam. Welcome back to the Blunt Slider Show. Today's a special edition. We're not landing clips, we're making the spots, showing you how it's done. Then you can either recreate these for yourself or put the design into practice elsewhere around the map. Just a few bits to talk about before we get into it. Now, so far my channel's been focused on some great custom spots I've made, and I want to share that knowledge with the community. This video will show you how to build 3 different styles of spot that you can construct for yourself in so many places around the map, not just these. I also aim to teach every viewer something new about the object dropper in Skate 4. If I don't accomplish that, please let me know in the comments. Just a quick disclaimer, I don't claim to be the all-out expert on quick dropped objects in Skate, but I've put enough time into it to have a generous understanding, and as of today's date and patch, everything I'm about to show you has been tested and works. So enough waffle, let's get into it. Now, just to start, I'm just going to explain that you don't really need too much in terms of objects from the object dropper to build decent custom spots. Now, obviously, the more objects you have, the more of a decent variety of spots you'll be able to make, but all I typically use are the rails, maybe some ramps, and the benches. The benches are from a box, but it's quite early on, so you'll have no trouble getting to it. It's definitely worth the probably half an hour to an hour it takes to get them. You can grind them, you can drop in on them, you can do all sorts with them. They are absolutely perfect. Now, with the object dropper, as long as an object is touching solid or sometimes just around solid, it will be allowed to place. You can tell it's allowed to place because it goes green. So we'll place 2 there. That's a bit of a landing pad for us, a bit of a launch pad. And next we want a bit of a rail. We'll be launching off that and then down into the slope bank of the archers. Now the thing is, every object in this game has its own hitbox. It's not like, say Rocket League for example, where a car's hitbox is just a square, despite the car being a weird shape. The hitboxes here are pretty much precise. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing there, but just gently nudging it in until that first little support is through the bench. Using the bumpers to nudge it in ever so slightly. Go on. Go on. There we go. And then feathering the triggers. Oh, a little bit down too much. But yeah, once it's in, maybe a bit fiddly, but just get to the right angle where it's at a nice slope. Nothing too mental, so we're going to the concrete, but enough to get a little bit of speed. And I'm going to put it about halfway into this bench here. Depending on where your platform is, you might want it a bit closer or a bit further away. But where that first platform is about where I launch from for my clip. So I'll go from there. Yeah, we don't need too much more than that. That's good enough. Now once our spot's down, quickly jump on it. Set a session marker down, that's very important. And let's give it a go. Let's see if we get it first try. Oh yeah, look at that first try. Didn't get enough speed off it, but that's the general principle. You go down that and you can get pretty much all around the park. I did have this version where I came down here. I managed to land this, but didn't get a load of speed. And then I had this weird one here where I wish I was more prepared because I just kind of panicked and fell. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, it's a very simple spot to make. All you need is a couple of benches and a rail. Don't even necessarily need the rail. All you need is a high location you can attach the benches to with a decent slope drop, depending on the height for you to land into. So yeah, if you're looking to spice Bonski up a little bit more, maybe you're getting a bit fed up of dropping off the roof, give this a go. See how it goes. So let's move on to the next spot. Alright, next one to the rolling waves. This is the first of the 2 rolling wave spots I'll be covering. Now this one was the first custom spot I made and put on YouTube. It's what came with the idea for most of the stuff on the channel, to be honest. It's a little bit more trickier than the last one, but that's not really saying much. It's a combination of 3 rails. You're going to drop into the ball once it's done. You'll get a clean amount of speed and be able to launch all over the park with it. So to start, walk to the edge, get the object dropper out and get a rail. Don't place it yet. We're just going to line it up against the ledge that we're going off. We're going to check that it's in line with the bowl we'll be dropping into. A few tweaks where necessary, that looks good to me. Now, same principle as before, as long as the object is touching solid, it can be placed. So it's green, that means it can be placed. Now, with a rail, if you push it gently into the surface, it should go one way or the other into a slope. If you're lucky, it will go off the ledge of the wall. If you're lucky, it will go the other way and let you start pointing it downwards. If you feather the triggers and gently hit the bumpers as you do that, you can slightly nudge it and get into the direction you want. Now we hold X to duplicate. That annoying green wall is in the way. Now, because our first rail is at a downward slope and not a harsh one either, this one has to be a flat one. It's much easier to connect a down slope to a flat slope. Gave it a little go, but I missed the rail. And again. I'm not the best at skate, as you can tell. There we go, we hit the rail. It's definitely skateable. That's the thing, you always want to come and test everything you're placing down and make sure it's skateable. You don't want to waste time putting something down just to find out you're going to trick off it every single time and not get anywhere. So same again, same principle as before. We duplicate the rail here. Now this is where it does get a bit fiddly, trying to match it up perfectly. You're not going to get it perfectly. This shouldn't make too much of a difference unless you're trying to 50-50 down it, but as long as you're getting a board slide or a nose or lip slide, you should go straight over it, no problems. Now it's not perfect, but it'll do about there. Oh, nah, a bit more. There we go. Ah, again, there we go. So it's not perfect, but like I say, a slide of some form should go straight over that. Now I've left this bit unedited too. It's a lot of trial and error until they get it right. Sometimes, you know, that you may not need to tweak the spot whatsoever, but you may need to alter your approach to it a couple of times until you find the right balance of speed, the right trick to do onto it, the right angle to take onto it. So please excuse my poor skating, but I promise you it's not for long. Oh, we're going to make it this time. Oh, my ankles felt that one. This time possibly. Oh, a lot of speed. Almost, didn't get the knees up enough. Different approach, you see. Get on the board, then kick, rather than run and jump on the board. Oh, has that done it? There we go. Smoothly in. Oh, and there we go. On the roof too. Now, when I originally did this for my clip, it took me probably 20-30 successful attempts until I finally hit a ground on that roof. And I do it first time there. Typical. Before we go into the final spot, I just want to give a few tips and tricks out about rails and how to get the ideal slope for your spot. Now, as some of you may know, if you angle a rail at another ledge or rail and go off it perfectly, you will continue all along it in one continuous grind. In order to do this though, you're going to have to adjust the angle for where you are jumping from and landing on. So in order to do that, I'm coming off from the roof just behind us. Those little support pegs at the front, I'm just poking that underneath the rail there. And then once it's under, I'm using the right trigger to raise it up, and that gets a perfect angle. Very easy. Now, a bit more advanced tip for the object dropper. I will go into this more detail on the next spot, but as you've seen there, as soon as I picked up that object, once it's been placed down on top of something, as soon as I've picked it up, I can now place that in the space that it originally occupied, and it won't be deleted if it's just left floating in midair. Didn't get great footage of this, but as you can see there, I'm going to delete that in a second there, and that's left floating in midair, and then I'll delete the one at the bottom there. Sorry, I lied. At the beginning of the video, I said I wasn't going to hit a clip, and I did. But I did not want to upload that just as a standalone video to make it into a short, so if anything, you're welcome. Now, onto the final clip. A spot that needs no introduction. The top of the extrovert shop at the Rolling Waves. This is a very popular spot. People are always diving off the roof, but we're going off a different way today. Same as before, get a rail and gently push it into the building. This time, however, you can use the drain pipe to the left to help guide it into position. Once again, using the bumpers and triggers, just slightly nudge it where you want. Just about there, does it? And now this is what I was saying in the last clip. As soon as an object is touching another object like this, and once it's been placed, any second out, there we go. Now, once I pick this up again, I can now place this in any space that this originally occupied. So I'm going to place that there. I'm going to delete the rail. We don't need that anymore. I'm going to duplicate the bench, and now I'm going to angle it over this bench. This green wall always in the way. Yes, the green wall frustrated me that much that I jumped all the way over here just to get rid of it. So yes, back to the benches. So yes, we angle the bench like that. If you get it just over halfway and then start lowering on the trigger to send it downwards, it gets it at the angle. You're not probably going to get this first time. It is very trial and error, very fiddly. As soon as if you've got two objects floating in midair, the minute you touch one, the other one will disappear. But again, you can use that to your advantage. You can then place that object in the space that the other one used to occupy. So as long as you've got one item in the air, you can always get another one in the air. So we do the same again, duplicate the object, angle the bench over halfway, start angling it downwards. So as you can see, we've got the bench like that, we've got it at an angle. If I press A now, the bench it is leaning on will delete and this bench I am holding will start to level out. Gravity will start to affect it again. However, if I double tap A, it stays pretty much in position. It may lose a few degrees as it slowly rises up, but it stays at its pretty much slope I put it at, and that should let us continue. It took me a very long time to get this spot recorded. I first started at about 5:30 today, and I didn't realize the time, and just as I was about finished, EA restarted the servers because of the daily community park refresh. And then the second time I did it, more or less straight after the refresh. Obviously this is a very popular spot, it was a peak time. Some people saw my benches and rails and thought, yes, let's grief them, and typically it was just as about done. If I remember correctly here, some guy's about to jump on the bench and I delete it just as he jumps. Sorry, buddy. So after a bit more tweaking, it does take a fair bit of time. Like I say, someone who's more mechanically gifted at skate might get this first time, but I am not mechanically gifted at skate. I'm better at designing parks than I am at skating them. Put the bench where the original bench was to occupy the space, angle another one downwards, and let's give it another go. There we go. I'm going to slow this down a bit now. We get the first landing. You want to make a rough idea of where you landed. You can use the bigger landing if you need to, but I prefer the smaller one. Obviously, the smaller the landing, the more style points. Now, it's not going to get it perfect first time. You're never going to probably go off at the same speed and angle twice in a row. So you will be nudging it about quite a lot. As I've said quite a lot of times in this video, very fiddly. And what's very annoying is sometimes when you're going down a slope rail, you may ollie off the end of it and you lose all your momentum and stock completely. Now the next part here is me just testing this over and over again until I can get a nice landing. There's going to be a lot of tweaking. I am going to start speeding this video up here. You guys don't really see it all. You've seen the principles here. It's just a lot of trial and error. Same again. Bench is too far away. We put it a bit closer. And as you saw right there, I just made a little alteration to the landing ramp. So yes, this is where I got 3 of the momentum stopping drops in a row. EA, please fix this. It may be only me doing this, but please EA, fix this. Wow, this spot was getting really popular. I was really paranoid people were going to grief it again. There's a guy sat on there who was on there for a good 10 minutes just looking at his phone. I left my marker up here, and when I was done getting all this footage, I accidentally pressed it. Came back up and everybody was still there. It was actually quite a nice sight to see, to be fair. And there we go. After all that waffling, finally landed the clip. Didn't get the same amount of speed as I did in my original shot, but it was nice. I'm glad to be able to recreate it on demand. Well, there we are. That's all the spots I'm teaching today. I did not expect the video to be this long, but if something needs to be said, it needed saying. Hopefully I managed to teach every one of you at least one new thing with the object dropper. In my opinion, the true fun of skate is creating, not just consuming. Now that you have these techniques, get out there and build something insane. Although I ask, if you do build a killer spot using any of these methods, make sure you drop me a link to the clip down in the comments below. I'll be checking them out. I might even build them for myself. Thank you so much for watching the Blunt Slider Show as always. If you want to see my thoughts on the current state of community parks or see me land some filthy grinds, go check out my channel. Drop a like, drop a comment, drop a subscribe. Take it easy, skaters.